Shut up until you shut the fuck up.
No, okay, so when you did that dance in the DC, right, with the white dress, there, I felt a drip, like, as you were getting up. I don't know what it was. I swear to God.
I had these messages.
$20 to tell Keemstar and 5,000 people.
Let's see.
Yeah, somebody.
Who's the Goon King now? You spent $20 to announce that. So let's welcome Bassett onto the stage.
Hey. I'm wearing one.
Ah! Shut the fuck up!
It's lighter pink. Wait.
It says, "Hey Keem, it's Deluminate. Who you think the third party was gonna expose you was? Shouldn't have tried embarrassing me for gooning."
Oh, so you're gonna shut up so we can play this, or are you gonna keep going? You wanna keep going? No, I'm not gonna shut up until you shut the fuck up.
Bro, let Ruby do her thing. Let her do her little walk.
Welcome. You've got Ruby. Welcome one, welcome all to my brand new show, Ruby Online. Do you remember America Online? That's the internet I grew up with, and I'm feeling nostalgic, baby. Always loved that aesthetic. We know I love that Schoolboy 9 kind of look. But yeah, so I was just watching this video last night. Is kind of what made me want to like pop off a little bit, because it's quite terrifying, and I was curious what the chat thinks. So the topic I wanted to go over was Bret Weinstein went on that podcast. Does anyone know? It's like Diary of a CEO. It's a very popular podcast. I think it has like 10 million subscribers or something. Speaking of many subscribers that start with 10, 10K, baby. We hit it. We hit it last night, and I got scared, because it went down again. So I was like, I'm not going to celebrate until I'm like way over that 10K hill, because subs go up and down. But we are well beyond that. So I don't think Brett is a homosexual. I don't know what the homosexual fucking obsession is with. Who cares? I really don't care what people are doing sexually that doesn't involve me and doesn't hurt anyone. I really don't care. So this like hyperfixation on I don't know, it's something I don't normally encounter, but I have like a very progressive leaning friend group. So thank you, Static. Also shout out to Cycleman90 and Polly, and also a very mysterious new person who's been donating cash apps, and their name is Solar System. So shout out to you. I get confused because everyone has different names everywhere. It took me too long to realize that Deadbug and Static were in fact the same bad bitch, and not multiple bad bitches I be juggling. They the same bad bitch. Because that's what happens when you're young, skinny, and rich is bitches beget bitches. We get younger, we get skinnier, we get richer, we get cleaner. Not to brag, but that's clean. In my world, that's clean. The way that it is right now is clean. So speaking of subjective versus objective, I've been having a lot of deep philosophical thoughts, and I wanted chat's help. Okay? I've been oscillating violently towards nihilism and deep agnosticism, and then oscillating right back to hallelujah. God saved my soul. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for this chance to make my life better and for the love and all good things in this world. Salo, that's you! The third fucking name! Are you serious? Are you serious? That's you? Well, thank you so much. Bro! Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. It means the world. It's a huge deal for me to hit 10K, to be monetized again. But here's the thing about suffering and enjoyment of goals is you're always going to be stuck chasing one thing and avoiding one thing. But the reality is to be in the moment. You know, I went through a phase of meditating. I've gone through many kind of like self-help phases as someone who struggled profoundly, didn't find a lot of help in the mental health care system or even the physical healthcare system. And that was another topic I wanted to talk about was I feel like everyone I fucking know is having like these symptoms of like either long COVID or Lyme disease or fibromyalgia. There's all of these fucking disorders. And I can't tell if this is just the disorders of decadence, that once you're a decadent society and you've reached such a level, you have to create, like look into yourself and create the suffering. Because there's always, that yin and yang. I've been reading more Eastern philosophy too. But at the end of the day, let me show you this book I got that I've been loving. A couple. Fire already. Fire already. All right, hopefully that doesn't burn. I just accidentally, just a little cherry fell off my cigarette. So let me know if there's a fire behind me in a couple minutes. Oh, I don't have an ashtray over here. Anyway, so I've been reading this book called like the Bible, and I've been really vibing with it. JK, that's not what I went to grab. There's 2 books, actually 3 books I've been vibing with, because I've been diagnosed with ADHD, but I also kind of use it as just a descriptive term for how I function. It's not an excuse for anything. It's just kind of describes the weird assortment of issues that I tend to struggle with. Everyone has a cross to bear. Everyone has something they struggle with in their life. And it just manifests differently for each person. Anyway, so we've got the Tao Te Ching, which is like basically like the Taoist Bible. And it has a lot of just basic ancient Eastern philosophy and wisdom about finding balance. It's all about yin and yang balance. The giraffe is back. Speaking of things that kind of sound like giraffe, Jaff is not back. Jaff is fired. And I went to go check out, there's a new episode of Madhouse up on their channel. And I think it's better than what they were doing in the Lol Cow Live, perpetually on fire and sinking universe. That's been on a downward trajectory that we all see. And the only highlights, I was looking at the Lol Cow Live stats today, and if you look up, all right, like what's their most popular content? Because that can tell you a lot about a channel and their audience. Look at what the most popular content is for Lol Cow Live. Faking fucking cancer. Punishing Boogie for faking cancer. And Wings pushing his wife on camera. Their best viewed episodes are the worst so far as anyone's mental health is concerned. The viewer, the performer. It's cool how y'all keep up with Lol Cow for me, so I don't have to watch it. I am only secondarily getting most of this intel from other people, but today I had some time to kill before work. I still have another couple hours free, and I don't know. I'm also like, I've been pretty thorped out. I've said this before, so I don't even really want to talk about whether or not I will be covering them in the future, but I definitely feel like I just needed a break. And more than ever, I've just been unplugging and just reading. I've just had this overwhelming urge to just like read and rest. I feel very tired and exhausted. I've been falling asleep at like 9 p.m. Show us your ass. I gotta start doing some ass workouts because it's not even all that. It's not even all that. Isn't that true of anything on the internet? Crazy shit gets more views. Absolutely. But it's how that channel uses the crazy shit. Like there's all kinds of channels that don't rely on cancer scams, domestic violence, and sadism to get views. For example, me. I mean, I guess that's the views, whatever. Let's not even get into that. Why not meet up with oh my God. I think the better question would be why? Why would I subject myself to going across the country and traveling to go interact and make content with people who I find to be very difficult to interact with and unpleasant? I'm not Lalo. I ain't Lalo. Has there been a wellness check on the guy? I haven't been tuning in enough to know if there was any updates with that. And I missed Ava's stream yesterday. So I wanted to watch the replay of that because I know I missed a lot of stuff, but I also am weary of like, let me miss it. Let me move on. Let the new hyperfixations bloom. Okay. So let's start with today's first hyperfixation. And that is AI the Antichrist? The end of human civilization? How many more years do we have, do you people think? And by end of human civilization, I don't mean we're going to be extinct, but this like very high living standard that we enjoy in like Western developed countries, I believe that's going to cease to exist. Wealth disparity is only going to go crazy. And that was one of the big takeaways I got, is that I was watching on the Diary of a CEO. There was a roundtable with Bret Weinstein and 2 other people. One who was like a developer of like an open source website called Repla. Spicoli fears men. Is that what it is? I don't know. Spicoli was like obsessed with them forever, and then just kind of all of a sudden he's like wishy-washy about meeting up and had like multiple excuses. And it's like sometimes shit happens and it's just bad timing. But I don't particularly trust Spicoli. Spicoli's also just obsessed with like homosexuality and trans stuff, which I get. You know, I've also gone through like a trans hyperfixation, and I miss the old hyperfixations. So let's bring him back into the equation. Also, who in chat knows Bret Weinstein? I've been following Bret Weinstein since 2016, so just under 10 years, because he went viral for the first time for working at a very liberal college in Western Mass, or no, I forgot where. No, it's in Seattle. It was either very, very, very hyper liberal college space, and they used to have this day where it was like a day without Black people to show like all the impacts that Black people have in, you know, in their school. But they changed it one year to be no white people come in, which Bret Weinstein found to be like a whole different animal and very problematic. And in my opinion, and he was hated. He's viewed as like a joke. Like in my like peer group, he's viewed as a wingnut. Him and his brother Eric Weinstein are viewed kind of as like wingnuts, specifically for concerns they had over COVID, which basically fractured and destroyed what was known as the intellectual dark web, which consisted of like Sam Harris, Eric Weinstein, Bret Weinstein, Jordan Peterson, all these people who basically went viral for going against academia and against modern like woke shit that was extremely popular and extremely pervasive during that time period of 2016. But here we are 9 years later. Here's another interesting thing. Everything is changing really quickly. And that is going to keep changing really, really, really quickly. And I feel like you notice that in the like political trends or like social trends that used to be very cyclic and more long going, of like a pendulum swing, conservative, liberal. Like I feel like it's just rapidly swinging back and forth, and everyone's incredibly disoriented. Is this panel? No. I don't think this channel is a part of any web, but I'm I've followed them. It doesn't mean I agree with everything they say, but I've just enjoyed listening to them. Maybe that makes me a midwit or whatever. But anyway, so I got this at the bookstore. It's a book of common prayer. And one of the things I love about it is it's written in like the older English spelling. And you guys know I love me some wacky spelling. But I don't know. And just reading it, it's helped me foster my numinous glow. That feeling of like spiritual connectedness, that feeling of light, you know, that feels brighter when I behave in like a way that's conducive with my moral values, God's moral values that are inscribed in each one of our hearts. You know, people, we need to untangle this whole damn mess. Okay. She's spiritually confused. She's intellectually confused. We're in the dark web. What's up? Ava the G, who's also going to be doing a live later about this character Molly, who I'm super intrigued about. I hate that I have to fucking work on Wednesdays now because I used to always have this day off. We used to do LOL Angels. Speaking of LOL Angels, there was a LOL Angel named Lo who was in the chat. Very much missed. Also, Ava, did you see you and Lo both have emojis? Oh wait, I forget if you're. Oh wait, you might have to be a member. Someone else posted. I can't do it in the StreamYard, bro. I'm serious. But guess what, Ava? Guess what, bitch? When you are consistent and putting off, your numbers go crazy, bitch. You could pop off. You could make serious money. I see that for you 100%. You know, if you're able to keep up like you have been and you've been on fucking fire, you know? Yes. I hate that it doesn't show up in StreamYard, but I'll open it on my phone so I can see it. But I want to pull up this link. Enough preamble. But anyway, so far as this being a show, I do a lot of phone streams, so I just want this to be my streams that I do from my laptop. I don't know if I'm going to do it every Wednesday. I just kind of decided to make this a show as I was setting it up to differentiate when I'm doing my phone streams versus like reacting to online content, because they're very different, you know, and they have very different people watching it. So, oh, dude, and guess what, bitch? We could do it together. And we've been doing it. We're taking over, okay? The fire, it's a growing. The fire, it's a burning inside of me, okay? And I've been really, I don't know, I feel like I've been in a kind of reflect and reconfigure, and I really want to start planning for a meetup either with you, Lo, Bethadone, Lynx, whether we all do something together, which honestly, with everyone's schedules, given that none of us are full-time streamers, and that we all have jobs too, it can be hard with that many people. But regardless, Ava, this is my official invitation to you to come to New Haven any damn time you want, okay? We'll hit the gym. We'll fuck shit up. We'll commentate on the weirdest shit. We got this. Ruby, we should hop on a call tomorrow and figure something out. 100%. Yeah, I'm off tomorrow. My only commitment is I'm recording an interview with this guy named Jordan B, who I used to debate like many years ago. And then I came back to YouTube and he just recently came back too. I was like, yo, do you remember me? So, you know, I'm sure both of our views have evolved greatly in the last like 4 or 5 years since I last interacted with him. But I want to keep interacting and keep just like branching out and trying to get out of like this Thorpe rut, because at the end of the day, I do think that kind of puts a cap on your appeal, you know, because I'm constantly covering this bizarre incest situation, like to like a hyper fixated pathological degree, and it just becomes this stupid cycle of them saying shit about me, you know. Hell yeah, perfect. Before or after is fine. I'm off tomorrow too. Yes, so that's the plan. Stay tuned for a stream with me and Ava to talk about how we're taking over YouTube and all that jazz. All right, let me start sharing this video because I'm all over the place. And congrats on 10K. You finna get a plaque. Bitch. Plaque on the way. Plaque is on the way. Pre-ordered. Alrighty. I think, oh, and the other book I didn't really get to show. I showed this on my methadone walk yesterday. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. I skipped it today. I skipped it. I'm not going because I'm exhausted to the point where even taking an Uber there and back makes me feel like then I won't have it in me to go to work, and it'll set off a whole series of events. Even though I've never called out of work, what really would happen is I push myself until I have some kind of like psychological breakdown that's extremely embarrassing and detrimental to my jobs. But that's another benefit of YouTube. It's a psychological breakdown. If anything, it's great for the numbers. But I really enjoyed this book of essays by Francis Bacon, who is a writer from like the 1500s. But I always find it just like really special and exciting when you read something that you would think is so stale, so, you know, so not relevant anymore. And it has just the same biting level of criticism and relevancy. And I don't know, I'm just forever astonished by the brilliant minds in this world, you know, and trying to understand them. No punishment walk. No. But there will be tomorrow. I can miss one day as long as I don't miss. I have a whole weird little system. Hopefully it doesn't cause any major issue. Yes, I loved the essay on truth. I loved the essay on envy. And the great thing about this too is like I get distracted. I jump around. Each one is its own little essay that's like totally, you know, I don't know. I like jumping around between books. I'll give you a sample of this. So the Tao Te Ching. So Tao is beyond words and beyond understanding. Words might be used to speak of it, but they cannot contain it. Tao existed before words and names, before heaven and earth, before 10,000 things. It is the unlimited father and mother of all limited things. Therefore, to see beyond boundaries, to the subtle heart of things, dispense with names, with concepts, with expectations and ambitions and differences, Tao and its many manifestations arise from the same source, subtle wonder within mysterious darkness. This is the beginning of all understanding. Subtle wonder within mysterious darkness. This is the beginning of all understanding. Okay? Well, let's take it back to God real quick. Let's just stop. Oh my God. Let me just get this fucking video starting so I can stop spazzing in every direction. So I'm going to pull up the video. It was on Diary of the CEO. And already this was posted. I was listening to this last night trying to fall asleep. It's a new interview. I'm pretty sure it's already over 1 million views for a long sit-down conversation between a scientist. And Bret Weinstein, I think, has an incredible perspective here as an evolutionary biologist and someone who studies like game theory and evolution and how things evolve. Because what we've done is we've created something where for the first time in human history, we do not have any idea how it's going to evolve. We're hoping it'll be to our benefit, but like, I don't know. That's not making me feel any better about it. But I do think this is going to change all of our lives really quickly, really soon, in many different ways. And yeah, let me pull. This is boring. Can you roll the Lalo meltdown, please? Which was there a new Lalo meltdown? Maybe I'll look at it after. But yeah, this is definitely gonna be boring if you're like someone who mostly just enjoys drama because it's like more of an intellectual discussion. But if you want, maybe you can leave and go like play with some blocks or something, and then your mommy can go grab you and let you know when playtime's over. All right, Diary of, oops, I cannot spell. Diary of CEO. And here's the thing. We already learned what happens. We already learned that technology has had a huge, huge impact on people in ways that we're only just starting to perceive, you know? Loneliness, depression. People aren't really fucking anymore. People aren't really getting married anymore. Our society, religion, gone. There's been so many changes that we're just in this absolute fucking clusterfuck. And everyone's just like, now Ruby, you do think it's important. Thank you. I mean, my whole plan was I know for a fact that other people have similar interests to me. This is what I would be watching now anyway. And then I was like, oh, I'll cover it on Celebrity Sunday, but that's still a ways away. And, maybe I'll revisit the AI Agents Day. I'm just only learning more about it and learning more about the ways that this is going to change everything. I also thought it was crazy because there's a guy in this, the CEO of Repla, I forget what it was called. He's like such a cartoon villain. He is such a cartoon villain. All right, so this is it. Diary of CEO, AI
So the definition
emergency
of age.
debate. I got like
I think a
36
lot of
minutes
people
in, and then I was like, I can't sleep listening to this. Because usually I put on something that's like kind of educational, but like low key that I can, learn while I fall asleep. I could not fall asleep to this. It was extremely anxiety inducing to me, but I don't think that avoiding the topic is the answer. I got some sleep. Let's dig in and let me bring you guys along for this existential dread freak out. Hey, so funny. I don't have a Discord, but I don't see why it would be Ruby's fault what other people do on the internet. That's a little weird to say that she let people. Wait, what? What? Buttercup says my server sexually harassed. Listen, I'm not always on the server. I try really hard to make sure it's a regulated, enjoyable space for as many people as possible. And I try to have a light hand with regulation as much as possible. And I had to make some tough choices recently with banning that guy who had all the creepy little girl videos on his channel. It was just like, no, thank you. And then someone who I have a real soft spot for and enjoy as a person, but it seemed like it wasn't healthy for them to be in the kind of space I cultivate, where there is some level of trolling, a lot of mature concepts and topics being discussed by immature people like me. Yes, they said that, but I sure not a single person sexually harassed them. Yeah. And I trust Polly. Polly's been great, and has been doing a great job of like letting me know what's going on for the things that I miss. And I really do appreciate it. Is like, I feel like I have a team of people that do help me, it's like the mods, it's the audience, it's the people I collaborate with. I love just like this community of creative people building each other up and trying to make interesting content or trying to enjoy interesting content. Like, well, you didn't catch a stray, but it was confirmed that you were interacting with someone who's put my safety into jeopardy. And and then you were lying about it. So it just wasn't the vibe, but you're still welcome in chat. It's just a matter of like, I don't know, like if people feel the need to interact with and be friends with my stalker of going on 6 years, who's also a Nazi, who also posted his dick all over the place to own the Thorpes, who also posted pictures of my house, posted pictures and like exactly what he would do to me if he was in the area, who sent packages to my mother's house, who sent packages to my house, who I've been like, come on, people. Like, it's so obviously, like, I just don't understand why, of all the people in the world, you feel the need to be there talking about me and encouraging a sick person to pursue being soulmates with me when they absolutely unequivocally are fucking not. Okay? They absolutely are fucking not. I'm not attracted to the non-functioning Neanderthal fucking Nazi dude who lives in a broken car and is whatever. I don't. Great. Now the whole thing's gonna escalate. So thank you, Pavilion. Thank you for bringing that up and now making it worse because now he's gonna retaliate in some way. So
don't realize how massive the positive impact AI is gonna have.
So I'm really, really curious what chat thinks about this. So I don't want to interject too many of my own feelings, but just I want to see if you guys react in a similar way as I did, because I already watched the first half hour of this. Moving on. Hi, my baby girl, I miss you, and I'm sorry I missed trivia last night. I was exhausted. I've been going to sleep so insanely early. And honestly, for people like me, I ain't getting into anything good past 10 p.m. anyway. So, and I'm an old lady. Y'all youngins forget I'm old. You forget. So this guy's being like, oh, imagine all the free time this will free up. Imagine the convenience, when convenience is basically like the crux of like the issue with modern society is people are miserable in such a high state of convenience. They don't have the regular reasons to interact and work with each other that they used to. And that has disintegrated the social fabric that was already disintegrating from 1,000 other different things happening at the same time.
Have on their life.
Well, I would argue that the idea that this AI disruption doesn't lead us to human catastrophe is optimistic. For example, people are going to be unemployed in huge numbers.
You agree with that, don't you?
Yes, if your job is as routine as it comes, it's gone in the next couple of years. But it's going to create new opportunities for
new opportunities for assholes like you.
We've created a new species, and nobody on Earth can predict what's going to happen.
We are joined by three leading voices to debate the most disruptive shift in human history, the rise of AI.
And they're answering the questions.
I'm going to withhold my opinions.
This technology is going to get so much more powerful. And yes, we're going to go through a period of disruption, but at the other end, we're going to create a fair world. It's going to allow people to run their businesses, make a lot of money.
And you can solve meaningful problems such as the breakthroughs in global healthcare and education. Will be
I'm
phenomenal,
overwhelmed with my
and you
damn
can live
thing.
an incredibly fulfilling existence.
Well, I would just say on that front, this has always been the fantasy of technologists, to do marvelous things with our spare time, but we end up doom scrolling.
Loneliness epidemic.
Yup.
Right, falling birth rates. So the potential for good here is
More
infinite,
convenience
and
is not the
potential for bad
answer.
is 10 times. For example, there's war, undetectable
Basically, yeah.
deepfakes,
But just wait.
and scams, so people don't understand how many different ways they are going to be robbed.
Look, I don't
Yup.
think blaming technology for all
Everyone right now,
all these issues.
I'm going to try not to be too alarmist, but I think everyone right now with the like advent of like deepfakes and the way that people are able to use your voice or get data from you and use it, this is just going to get crazier and crazier. So I really do think that people should have some kind of code that they like privately tell away from electronics, like to their family, like, hey, if you get a call from like someone pretending to be me needing this because I lost my phone or something. Already these kinds of scams are popping up. I just talked to my mom earlier and we came up with like a code word. Wait, fuck, we texted it to each other. See what I mean? We're all fucked. But I'm trying not to be too like nihilist. I am an optimist, but I think we need to really just like be fucking real about the situation we're in.
They're already here.
We're all fathers here. So what are you saying to your children?
Well, first of all,
This has always blown my mind.
And guess what? It's revenge of the nerds. These are people who feel like they are owed something by the world, you know? They saw like in high school, the jocks got the women, but now look at me. I have the money into women. I have the power, blink, blink. Like I just feel like there's, it's a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. It is a disaster. Handled with extreme caution. Like it is exciting. All the great things that can come of it. And I think Bret Weinstein was actually quite fair in this. I'm like probably more alarmist than him, but I only tell the truth. You will believe one day. Oh, great. You were Ruby's dead dog called Derpy? No.
53% of you that listen to this show regularly haven't yet subscribed to this show. So could I ask you for a favor before we start? If you like the show and you like what we do here and you want to support us, the free, simple way that you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. And my commitment to you is if you do that, then I'll do everything in my power, me and my team, to make sure that this show is better for you every single week.
Yeah.
We'll listen to your feedback. We'll find the guests that you want me to speak to.
He was a nerd.
And we'll continue to
live
do
out
what we
this
do. Thank you
fantasy
so
of
much.
masculinity that's like not gonna fulfill him or lead to any kind of happy life. Look, I fucked the bitch with the braces.
The reason why I wanted to have this conversation with all of you is because the subject matter of AI, but more specifically AI agents, has occupied my free time for several weeks in a row. And
Dude,
actually,
it's not going to be close to human intelligence because it's going to be vastly superior in almost every way. And right now is the time to really lock down what you value, what makes your life worth living, where you get your confidence, and like the things that people rely on for meaning. I think they have to change because it's between the loss of religion, all the technological changes, the advent of like birth control and like feminism and all these amazing things that have happened for women, but with unforeseen consequences to the social fabric and the roles that many people look to. on how to live their life and without a role that they can look to. People really devolve into a state of like nihilistic hedonism quickly.
Amjad, when I started using Replit, for me, it was a paradigm shift. There was 2 paradigm shifts in a row that happened about a week apart. ChatGPT released their image generation model where you could create any image and it was incredibly detailed with text and all those things. That was a huge paradigm shift.
Wait,
and then in the
what?
same week, I finally gave in.
Buttercup, what happened? What are you talking about? Who sexually harassed you? Like, I don't want anyone to get like harassed, or I just literally have no idea. Nothing was learned. Alas, here we are.
And to try and figure out what this term AI agent was that I was hearing all over the internet. I heard vibe coding, I heard AI agent. I was like, I will give it a shot. And when I used Replit, 20 minutes in to using Replit, my mind was blown. And I think that night I stayed up.
AI only appears in people. Oh, sweet summer child.
Morning. For anyone that doesn't
know,
you're
deaf smarter than a computer, buddy. You're gonna make it. Your job's
that allows you to create
gonna get you
software. And pretty much any software you want. So someone like me with absolutely no coding skills was able to build a website, build in Stripe, take payment, integrate AI into my website, add Google login to the front of my website, and do it within minutes. I then
this is exciting for someone like me. The fact that there's a free resource out there where I can build my own website, my own payment processing, my own video hosting. You guys understand how quickly this is going to change. And if you want to be smart and competitive, you need to learn how to use these tools and also how to balance these tools in your life. So I just, yes, there's a lot of great things, and I'm planning on looking into this to help make my own website and my own things, because I'm very weary of relying directly on YouTube with its totally erratic TOS. So the site, it's like a free open source like coding site where basically all you have to you don't have to have coding skills. You just command the AIs. And once you can say like, AI, can you set me up a website that has payment processing and this going on in it? Those AI agents, well, then that's their objective mission, no matter what, is to just make sure that happens and go every route and not finish until it's done. You say a command, website, everything you need in it, done. So we as content creators, which is also becoming like a small business owner in its own way, these are tools that can be very useful to content creators. But I'm sure I'm not the only person who's been noticing the huge influx of AI dramas and commercials for AI movies, and more and more already. Just it seems very rapidly, my ads and everything have been flooded with AI movies or ads for things that are it's just already really deceptive and bizarre. And yeah,
got the piece of software that I had built with no coding skills, sent it to my friends, and one of my friends put his credit card in and paid.
Amazing.
So I just launched a SaaS company with no coding skills.
I forgot. I was going to check my thing. Hold on.
To demonstrate an AI agent in a very simple way, I used an online AI agent called Operator to order us all some water from a CVS around the corner. The AI agent did everything end to end, and people will be watching it on the screen. It put my credit card details in, it picked the water for me, it gave the person a tip, it put some delivery notes in. At some point, a guy is going to walk in.
Yes!
He has not interacted with a human.
Okay, true, actually. And I have been watching without knowing it, and without even being sure, a lot of AI content, because I like a lot of summarized books and things that an AI can very easily do now. And the AI itself can make the videos, the backgrounds, everything. And how the fuck is your average person going to compete with that? So I think more than ever, we have to lead with something that is more trustworthy and more substantial than just our intellectual whims, if that makes any sense. I don't even know that it does.
He's interacted with my AI agent. And the reason I use this as an example is, again, it was a paradigm shift moment for me when I heard about agents about a month ago. And I went on and I ordered a bottle.
I'll say this. I think for content creators, trust and authenticity is going to be the name of the game. And human. What makes a person human? What can humans do that the AI can't, and really highlight and make that stand out? Oh wait, Truman, don't wait. Bro, speaking of like fucking with my head, can people like, oh my gosh. Triggerman, if that's you, just use your account. You're not banned. Like,
of electrolytes. And when my doorbell rang, I freaked out. I freaked out. But Amjad, who are you? And what are you doing?
So I started programming at a very young age. You know, I built my first business when I was a teenager. I used to go to internet cafes and program there. And I realized that they don't have software.
What do you mean by creative beyond just
like, oh, why didn't you create accounts?
Like, they don't have an artistic sense. They don't have a aesthetic appreciation. They can't express human emotion. Like, learn language models, for the people who don't know. That's what that's referencing. And this is what's also terrifying, and they address this, is that like people can steal your identity. Someone could be technically using a learn language model to just, they could be having my video put in like all of my thoughts, experiences, and feelings, and then they can just steal basically all that. And just like, it's scary. I think we should all be a bit freaked out, but also a bit excited in some ways for the tools that we can use so that, you know, we can have any kind of means to fight back against this Looney Tune, who he must at this point like be wanting to double down on the evil like AI guy. He thinks that's cool. He watched too many movies. He thinks that's his brand, as being the evil AI guy, and like he doesn't care. This guy might be a little psychopath or something in my
have a server. It took me 2 years to build that piece of software. And that's sort of embedded in my mind, this idea that, hey, like, you know, there's a lot of people in the world with really amazing ideas, especially in the context where they live in.
Oh, that's going to be happening times a million. You thought connection
businesses.
Between humans is bad.
However, the main source of friction between an idea and software, or call it an idea and wealth creation, is infrastructure, is physical infrastructure, is meaning a computer in front of you. It is an internet connection. It is the set of tools and skills that you need to build that. If we make it so that anyone who has ideas, who wants to solve problems,
we've been arguing over that.
I mean, imagine the kind of world that we could live in, where no one can be anyone who has merit, anyone who can think clearly, anyone who can generate a lot of ideas can generate wealth. I mean, that's an amazing world to live in, right? Anywhere in the world. So with Replit, the company that I started in 2016, the idea was like,
anyone, like, you guys know how long it takes people to like catch on to certain like technological things, or like for older people, there's going to be a big learning curve for people to start utilizing these things. And by the time people start using it, like your average person, to their own advantage, it's just going to be, the market is going to be completely dominated, you know, by Apple, Google, X. Like those industries are just going to keep getting more powerful, more wealth disparity, all the expense of human well-being, while saying that they are the source of human well-being. I think not.
Okay, coding is difficult. How do we solve coding? And we built every part of the process, the hosting, the code editor. The only missing thing was the AI agent. And so over the past 2 years, we've been working on this AI agent that you can just, similar.
Ava said, when I was buying my desktop from Best Buy the other day, some old couple asked if Google Chrome would be included in their computer, whether they'd have to pay. Yeah, it's like, and we have to be real. A lot of like, there's all different kinds of intelligence and ways that you can contribute to the world and be like a light to other people and be loving. And there's so many meaningful things in this world. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the kind of intelligence that is useful to compete in the environment that's being created by maniacs like this guy, that intelligence correlates with the IQ test, which half of Americans have an IQ under 100. And like, they're going to have a serious, like this, it's the whole delusion that like every mechanic is going to become a coder. Like, that's just not possible for a lot of people. A lot of the economy is held up by somewhat menial tasks, I think that this is going to take over, but there has to be some kind of UBI is going to have to go through. That's it, because they're going to need people who want to buy
since ChatGPT, this revolution with Gen AI, and you can just speak your ideas into existence. I mean, this starts, sounding religious. Like this is like the gods, that the myths that humans have created. They used to imagine a world where you can be everywhere and anywhere at once. That's sort of the internet, and you can also speak your ideas into existence. And it's still early. I think Replit Agent is a fantastic tool, and I think this technology is going to get so much more powerful.
Specifically, what is an AI agent?
Mm-hmm.
I've got this graph actually here, which I don't need to pass to any of you to be able to see the growth of AI agents. But this graph is Google search trend data.
This also resembles our revenue too.
Oh, okay, right.
We get it, dude. We get it. You're a rich,
thank you. You can come on in.
Cartoon character who doesn't give a fuck, and
it's
only going to get worse.
3951.
He's only going to get worse to the point where I think he must.
Thank you.
Think it.
I mean, this is like a supernatural kind of power. You conjured water.
Look, I am like God. I was the nerd, but now I am God.
And it clearly thinks we need a lot.
Yeah. But just to define the term AI agent for someone that's never heard the term before.
Yeah.
Well,
so I assume most of the audience now are familiar with ChatGPT, right? You can go in and you can talk to an AI. It can search the web for you. It has a limited amount of tools. Maybe it can call a calculator to do some addition subtraction for you. But that's about it. It's a request response style. Agents are when you give it a request and they can work indefinitely until they achieve a goal or they run into an error and they need your help. It's an AI bot that has access to tools. Those tools are access to a web browser like Operator, access to a programming environment, say like Replit, access to credit cards. The more tools you give the agent, the more powerful it is. Of course, there's all these considerations around security and safety and all of that stuff. But the most important thing is that AI agent will determine when it's finished executing. Today, AI agents can run for anywhere between 30 seconds to 30 minutes. There's a recent paper that came out that's showing that every 7 months, the number of minutes that the agent can run for is doubling. So we're at like 30 minutes now. In 7 months, we're going to be at an hour, then 2 hours. Pretty soon, we're going to be at days. And at that point, AI agent is doing labor, is doing kind of human-like labor. And actually, OpenAI's new model, O3, beat the expectation. So it sort of doubled coherence over long horizon tasks in just 3 or 4 months. So we're in this massive, and I mean, this exponential graph, that shows you the massive trend.
It depends on the topic. Yeah.
Brett, give us a little bit of your background, but also I saw you writing some notes there. There was a couple of words used there that I thought were quite interesting, especially considering what I know about you. The word God was used a few times.
Well, let me just say I'm an evolutionary biologist, and probably for the purposes of this conversation, it would be best to think of me as a complex systems theorist. One of the things that I believe is true about AI is that this is...
I think Brett did amazing in this, but full disclosure, I have been watching him and his wife, Heather, who is also an evolutionary biologist. They're literally like couple goals, and they've over time, they've showed they are true to their values. In my opinion, they've gone up against what was popular, even within their little intellectual dark web, until that kind of like fractured off into different splinters, And he gets dragged, especially like I run in like left-wing circles, and it's like kind of viewed as he's like a pseudo-intellectual. But perhaps I am too, because it's selling it to me.
It's the first time that we have built machines that have crossed the threshold from the highly complicated into the truly complex. And I will say I'm listening to this conversation with a mixture of profound hope and dread, because it seems to me that it is obvious that the potential good that can come from this technology is effectively infinite. But I would say that the harm is probably 10 times. It's a bigger infinity. And the question of how we are going to get to a place where we can leverage the obvious power that is here to do good and dodge the worst harms, I have no idea. I know we're not prepared. So I hear you talking about agents, and I think that's marvelous. We can all use such a thing right away, and the more powerful it is, the better. The idea of something that can solve problems on your behalf while you're doing something else is marvelous. But of course, that is the precondition for absolute devastation to arise out of a miscommunication, right? To have something acting autonomously to accomplish a goal, you damn well better understand what the goal really is and how to pull back the reins in the event that it starts accomplishing something that wasn't the goal. The potential for abuse is also utterly profound. You know, you can imagine, just pick your dark mirror fantasy dystopia where something has been told to hunt you down until you're dead, and it sees that as a technical challenge. So I don't know quite how to balance a discussion about all of the things that can clearly come from this that are utterly transcendent. I mean,
the thing about balancing the discussion too, and they're going to get into like why, because I was looking this up, I was like, is anyone else like linking the AI Antichrist? There's got to be, like, because there's so many kind of like metaphors within the crisis that you can like reference.
Do you think it is not inappropriate to be invoking God or biblical metaphors here? You know, you're producing water seemingly from thin air. I believe that does have an exact biblical parallel. So any case, the power is here, but so too is the need for cautionary tales, which we don't have. That's the problem, is that there's no body of myth that will warn us properly of this tool, because we've just crossed a threshold that is similar in its capacity to alter the world as the invention of writing.
Yep.
I really think that's where we are. We're talking about something that is going to fundamentally alter what humans are with no plan. You know, writing alters the world slowly because the number of people who can do it is tiny at first and remains so for thousands of years. This is changing things weekly. Mm-hmm. And that's an awful lot of power to just simply have dumped on a system that wasn't well regulated to begin with.
Dan.
Yeah, so I'm an entrepreneur. I've been building businesses for the last 20 plus years. I'm completely well positioned between the two of you here. The excitement of the opportunity and the terror of what could go on.
I feel like this guy could have just like not been there. He brought not much to the conversation at all, except being like in between. I feel like Bret Weinstein actually is the better in between person, and then they should have had someone who was actually alarmist. Like, no, like here's what we need to do like right now in case this goes worst case scenario, because that's in the cards. But at the same time, it's like the whole framing this like as if it can be stopped or controlled is a misnomer, because that's not possible. Like, it's just, that isn't possible.
There's this image that I saw of New York City in 1900, and every single vehicle on the street is a horse and cart. And then 13 years later, the same photo from the same vantage point, and every single vehicle on the street is a car. And in 13 years, all the horses.
It felt like a Replit commercial in a lot of ways. That was freaky too. But I think he came off really bad, and the audience didn't.
If you had interviewed the horses in 1900 and said, how do you feel about your level of confidence in the world? The horses would have said, well, we've been part of humanity for
so astronomically
hand and hoof for many, many years, for thousands of years. Analogy. There's one horse for every 3 humans. Like, how bad could it be? You know, we'll always have a special place. We'll always be part of society. And little did the horses realize that that was not the case, that the horses were going to be put out of business very, very rapidly. And to reason through analogy, you know, there's a lot of us who are now sitting there going, hey, wait a second, does this make me a horse in 1900? I think a lot of people don't realize how massive these kind of technologies are going to have as an impact. 1 minute we're ordering water and that's cute, and the next minute it can run for days, and in your words, it doesn't stop until it achieves its goal, and it comes up with as many different ways as it could possibly come up with to achieve its goal. And in your words, it better know what that goal is.
I'm thinking a lot, Amjad, as Daniel's speaking about the vast application of AI agents. And where are the bounds?
Or was it?
Because if this thing is going to get incrementally smarter, well, incrementally might be an understatement. It's going to get incredibly smart, incredibly quick. And we're seeing this AI race where all of these large language models are competing for intelligence with one another.
Yep.
And if it's able to traverse the internet and click things and order things and write things and create things, and all of our lives run off the internet today, what can't it do? It's going to be smarter than me. No doubt. It already is. And it's going to be able to take actions across the internet, which is pretty much where most of my professional life operates. It's like how I build my businesses. Even this podcast is an internet product at the end of the day, because you can create, we've done experiments now, and I can show you the graphs on my phone to make AI podcasts. And we've just managed to get it to have the same retention as the Diary of a CEO. Now with the image generation model,
retention as in viewer retention,
the percentage of people that get to 1 hour is the same now. So we can make the video, we can publish it, we can script it, you can synthesize my voice. Sounds like me. So what is it going to be able to do? And can you give me the variety of use cases that the average person might not have intuitively conceived?
I tend to be an optimist, and part of the reason is because I try to understand the limits of the technology. What can it do is anything that we can, any sort of set of human data that we can train it on. What can it not do is anything that humans don't know what to do, because we don't have the training data.
It's going to make its own training data.
Because it integrates massive amount of knowledge that you wouldn't be able to read, right?
He's obviously not dumb though, so I think he's
run through massive amount of computation that your brain can't even comprehend.
Dude, do you understand? Like, what point are we at?
They're smart. They can.
Yeah. So we're on 16. I gave it like another 15 minutes last night, and then I was like, I need to like watch this in chunks because it's anxiety inducing, but it was also like a big wake up call for me, like, because I had been really just feeling this difference in my online experience, being more and more and more bombarded with AI things. It's just changing so rapidly. And this whole AI agents thing, I didn't even know what that was last week. And then next week, there's going to be something else. And it's just the human organism was not evolved to be in this kind of environment. And I do think that we're going to get like cults of people who worship AI as the answer for humanity and potential, we're going to save the world with one world religion. And that goes back to the biblical shit, and even though I really struggle with like God and religion and things like that, like, I don't know. It says, yeah, it's so hard. It's like, are they trying to sell shit, figure out how to make money off this, or actually just have genuine musings? The guy in the bald, I think the Diary of a CEO guy, these are there's the tech bros. There's like the maximize productivity, maximize everything, like that is what their mission in life is, that's what their fixation is, and I watch a lot of these podcasts because I'm into like self-help and self-improvement and trying to find ways to make my life easier or stay up to date with, whatever latest technological thing. But I forget where I was going there. I need more weed, dude.
And take actions, but we know the limits of what they can do because we train them. They're able to simulate what a human can do. So the reason you were able to
I will say this though,
the water is because it was trained on NSF data. That includes clicking on door.
I believe this guy, he just wants to sell the idea of this is okay to get people to sign to be on board with him and his business, and he wants to assuage their ethical concerns. Most people just want their ethical concerns assuaged. They just want like, oh, okay, you kind of answered that in a way that's somewhat satisfactory. Like, I'm on board, let me invest. He wants to maximize output. And that's the thing. You have these people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They're in a whole different universe about just maximizing the number of like, that represents their power and influence and legacy on society. It's about getting that number as big as possible. Like,
dash and ordering water.
But people like this, the evil bald guy, I believe Bret Weinstein, I think he's been genuine. I've been following him for like 11 years. I think he's coming at this with very genuine concerns, and he's trying not to seem alarmist because he's been like already like had people calling him alarmist for years over like the COVID vaccine, which, a lot of those people quieted down was it's like, research about COVID and long COVID and the vaccine has been coming out, but for a while people were so afraid to go against that because we thought like everyone has to get vaccinated. We're all going to fucking die,
I applaud your optimism and I like the way you think about these puzzles, but I think I see you making a mistake that we are about to discover is very commonplace. So we have several different categories of systems. We have simple systems, we have complicated systems, we have complex systems, and then we have complex adaptive systems. And to most of us, a highly complicated system appears like a complex system. We don't understand the distinction. Technologists often master highly complicated systems, and they know, for example, a computer is a perfectly predictable system inside. It's deterministic. But to most of us, it functions, it is mysterious enough that it feels like a complex system. And if you're in the position of having mastered highly complicated systems and you look at complex systems and you think it's a natural extension, you fail to anticipate just how unpredictable they are. So even if it is true that today there are limits to what these machines can do based on their training data, I think the problem is to see what's going to happen. You really want to start thinking of this as the evolution of a new species that will continue to evolve. It will partially be shaped by what we ask it to do, the direction we lead it, and it will partially be shaped by things we don't understand. So how does this computer that we have work? Well, one of the things that it does is we plug them into each other. Using language, it's almost as if you've plugged an Ethernet cable in between human minds, and that means that the cognitive potential exceeds the sum of the individual minds in question. Your AIs are going to do that. And that means that our ability to say what they are capable of does not come down to, well, we didn't train it on that data. As they begin to interact, that feedback is going to take them to capabilities we don't anticipate and may not even recognize once they become present. That's one of my fears. This is an evolving creature, and it's not even an animal. If it were an animal, you could say something about what the limits of that capability are.
There are huge limits. AI will be training in ways that we don't understand the whole point.
And
yeah, I understand the neural net. I mean, I understand as much as like a fucking high school dropout can, but like huge limits of what AI, that was convincing, and that, assuaged my fears once upon a time. The more I learned, the less that is the case. Modernity promised easier wealth and property acquirement than the previous generations, yet it's only gotten more expensive to live and acquire property despite all these advancements. Exactly. So all these issues that we've already been, just fucking starting to understand, all of those issues are going to be cranked up times 100 that we just started to understand. And these promises that he's saying, like, oh, think of all the opportunity, the great equalizer, like anyone can do this. I don't think even he believes that. He just believes that he's going to be spared from the downsides, and he's a little, hedonistic psychopath. And the world is unfortunately run by a bunch of hedonistic little psychopaths.
It will become capable of things that we don't even have names for.
I said it, yes.
Even if it didn't do that, even if it just stayed within the boundaries that you're talking about, you mentioned about it having median level intelligence. Well, that by definition means 50% of the people on the planet are less intelligent than AI. To a degree, it's almost as if we've just invented a new continent of remote workers. There's billions of them. They've all got a master's or a PhD. They all speak all the languages. Anything that you could call someone or ask someone over the internet to do, they're there 24/7, and they're 25 cents an hour, if that. So like if that really happened, like if we really did just discover that there were a billion extra people on the planet who all had PhDs and were happy to work for almost free, that would have a massive disruptive impact on society. Like society would have to rethink how everyone lives and works.
A lot of change has been more incremental, but this is just an entirely new situation when we have an intelligence that's going to be self-directing. You know, like, yes, we can program it this way, but once we've programmed it to start programming itself, we just quite simply don't know how that's going to play out. There's a lot of great things, but I think that a lot of the benefit is just going to keep getting sucked up by people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, like this fucking bald guy who's auditioning to be the new Dr. Evil, whatever the fuck. Like, those are the people who are going to profit. You know, so that they can have even more free time to like fucking jerk off onto supermodels' fucking ass crack and feel so happy life. We made it.
So like, and that's if it just stays at a median level of intelligence. Like it's pretty profound.
I still think it's a tool. This is power that is there to be harnessed by entrepreneurs. You know, I think that the world is going to get disrupted, right? And
I highly disagree about
post-war world that we created, where you go through life, you go through 12 years of education, you get to college, and you just check the boxes, you get a job. We can already see the fractures of that. It is, you know, this American dream is perhaps no longer there, and so I think the world has already
fantasy where no one will ever have to do anything.
But like, what are the opportunities? Obviously, the opportunities is for the first time.
Even easier
access
to isolate.
Is equal, and I do think there's going to be more inequality, and the reason for this inequality is because actually Steve Jobs, made this analogy. It's like the best taxi driver in New York is like 20% better than the average taxi driver. The best programmer can be 10x better. You know, we say the 10x engineer. Now the variance will be in the 1000x, right? Like the best entrepreneur that can leverage those agents could be better. It could be 1,000 times better than someone who doesn't have the grit, doesn't have the skill, doesn't have the ambition, right? So that will create a world. Yes, there's massive access to opportunity, but there are people who will
seize it, and then
seize it.
Maybe I'm just
there'll be people who don't. I imagine it almost like a marathon race.
I wouldn't know.
And AI has two superpowers. One superpower is to distract people, such as TikTok algorithm.
That's right.
And the other superpower is to make you hyper creative. So you become a hyper consumer or a hyper creator. And in this marathon race, the vast majority of people have got their shoes tied together because AI is distracting them. Some people are running traditional race. Some people have got a bicycle, and some people have got a Formula One vehicle. And it's going to be very confronting when the results go on the scoreboard and you see, oh, wait a second, there's a few people who finished this marathon in about 30 minutes, and there's a lot of us who finished in like 18 hours because we had our shoes tied together. And I can't understand, if we've got equal opportunity, why there's so much disparity between how fast it, I'm using an analogy, but this idea that, someone, like a lot of people are going to start earning $1 million a month. And a lot of people are going to say, hey, I can't even get a job for $15 an hour. There's going to be this kind of interesting wedge.
Well, but I hear in what both of you are saying a kind of assumption that this will all be done on the up and up. And I do want to I am not a doomer.
All right, I'm going to drop the link if anyone wants to come up.
I agree that the doomers are likely incorrect, that their fears are
misplaced.
I'm
a little curious.
But I do think we have a question of a related rates problem.
But
I said the potential for good here is infinite, and the potential for bad is 10 times, right? What I mean is there are lots of ways in which this obviously empowers people.
So right now, what I've been watching
is
I started watching this last night, and I got up to the half-hour point, and I had to change it because usually I try to fall asleep listening to something that's like educational or like, and the way they're talking is kind of rhythmic and like it's still informative to keep me like somewhat interested. But it was way too anxiety-inducing for me to finish. But it's Bret Weinstein doing an emergency AI agents debate with this other guy who's the CEO of this thing called Repla, which is like an open source network for like different AI agents. And I don't know, I can barely fucking, please God, no Spicoli. I can't handle this cracked up voice, dude. I know. We'll do a brief Spicoli. Spicoli, you're gonna have just a brief amount of time. What's up, TK in the house?
What?
What's up?
Can you hear me? Everything's good?
Yeah, what's up?
What's this going on in chat about, oh, Tommy, your DMs are so funny? Or any of this crazy talk in chat. I'm wondering what people want to, what are we talking about?
Yeah, hi, Tommy. What are we talking about? I don't want anybody putting my friend Tommy down. Anybody that puts Tommy down has to go through me. Anybody that puts Ruby down or Low down, they're going to get roasted by my fucking ass like Farzan. Farzan, I have a question. When your mom sucked my big Jewish penis, did she get any pubic hairs caught between her teeth? That's the question I have for Farzan.
Hold on,
Spicoli, are the rumors true that you're a genocider?
Tommy, Tommy knows we love him. Tommy's my man.
I'm not going to read chat. I'm just going to listen to everybody. A genocider? What is a genocider?
Farzan, the big top dog in chat who's got a whole lot to say, is now saying that he's saying, Ruby, what are you doing platforming a genocider?
Yeah, what the fuck's a genocide?
First of all, I don't genocide anybody, and there's no genocide going on in Gaza. You've got 2 million people there. The population increased 3 times in the last 10, 20 years. What do you got out of
Okay, let's go back to the video.
What? No,
that was fun. That was fun opening up the panel for a bit. I really loved the input from the audience.
Ruby, they asked what a genocider was. He was giving the definition, and then it makes you upset. What do you want us to do when we get up here?
I don't want to start arguing the Middle East Jews with Spicoli. I don't want to. You can't make me.
I don't know what you want.
What I want is just enjoy this little fucking video. Maybe talk about something pertaining to the video, pertaining to Ruby. But no, look, Spicoli's a genocider. I
don't even listen to half the shit you say. I literally watch you thrust your body, and then you put on these crazy videos. I don't know. And then you keep saying
you tell her, Tommy.
You look pretty.
Tommy, you tell her, my man. You tell her.
I mean, it's just crazy talk. She wants us to listen to her talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
I have
wild.
the need to be
Ruby, we want to see you do this
invalidated.
Weird, it's a weird move. Do that stuff and stand up.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Tommy, you and I should start our own podcast. You and I would be a good team together. We would go viral. If you and I had a podcast together, we should talk about it. I think you and I should have our own little show.
Easier than fucking off. Motherfuckers are so weird. If you tell a bitch you want to stick your nose in her ass, you're called a pussy. If you fucking don't tell a bitch you want to stick her nose in her ass, you're called a pussy. I don't get it.
Exactly. And if we team up, we can strengthen the Jewish and Black relationships by showing everybody that we love each other. Ruby, what do we want?
Like Ruby,
you know what we want. We want sex.
Ruby,
Tommy and I want sex. We want vajayjay.
That's free of the celibate bitch. You fucking dodos. You're gonna go extinct at that rate.
No, hold on. You're the one waffling.
Yeah, you're gonna go extinct just like the dinos, and we'll say that you never existed, bitch.
What?
Ruby, can you stand up and show us your ass and your camel toe? Ruby, I want to see your camel toe, please.
Please. What type of pants do you have on today?
All right, so that was a really fun panel. And I would love to jump around and shake my ass right now, but I'm not going to because I know that y'all little freaks want that. Okay, well, that was a fun little panel experiment. Let's go back to watching my little video.
Be otherwise stuck in the mundane process of learning to code and then figuring out how to make the code work and bring it to market and all of that. And this solves a lot of those
Thank
problems.
you.
And that's obviously
Okay,
a good thing. Really, what we should want is the wealth creation object as quickly as we can get there. But the problem is, you know, as much as that hyper creative individual.
Yeah, he extinct like the dino. He ain't got no rhinoplasty, looking nasty. He's a big boy. I'm a little toy. Thank you so much, Lil Grim, for the 2 big bad buckaroonies in the fucking chat. I ain't even got the banner up, but don't forget, hit the Cash App, hit the Venmo, and join to be a membership so you can have all the cool emojis that we all love. Let's continue.
Is empowered to make wealth. The person who is interested in stealing may be even more empowered. And I'm concerned about that at a pretty high level. The abuse cases may outnumber the use cases, and we don't have a plan for what to do about that.
Can I give you a quick introduction here, like the optimistic view? OpenAI invented the first version GPT came out in 2019. 2020 was GPT-2. And so OpenAI, now they get a lot of criticism and lawsuit from Elon Musk that they're no longer open source, right? They used to be. The reason is in GPT-2, they said, we are no longer going to open source this technology because it's going to create opportunities for abuse, such as influencing elections, stealing grandma's credit card, and so on and so forth. Wouldn't you say, Brett, that it is kind of surprising how little abuse we've seen so far?
I don't know how much abuse we've seen so far. I don't know how any of us do. And I also, even the example that you suggest, where ChatGPT is no longer open source to prevent abuse, I'm taking their word for it that that's the motivation. Where, as a systems theorist, I would say, well, if you had a technology that was excellent at enhancing your capacity to wield power, then open sourcing it is a failure to capitalize on that, and that the most remunerative use is to keep it private and then either sell the ability to manipulate elections to people who want to do so, or sell the ability to have it kept off the table for people who don't. And I would expect that that's probably what's going on. If you have a technology as transformative as this, giving it away for free is counterintuitive, which leaves those of us in the public more or less at the mercy of the people who have it. So,
Person, what you're not understanding,
I don't see the reason for comfort.
Being like an artificial
we are at
sentience
the dawn
of its own being created that can
radical transformation of humans that, by its very nature, as a truly complex and emergent innovation, nobody on Earth can predict what's going to happen. We're on the event horizon of something. And the problem is, we can talk about the obvious disruptions, the job disruption, and that's going to be massive. And does that lead some group of elites to decide, oh, well, suddenly we have a lot of useless eaters, and what are we going to do about that? Because that conversation tends to lead somewhere very dark very quickly. But I think that's just the beginning of the various ways in which this could go wrong without the doomer scenarios coming into play. This is an uncontrolled experiment in which all of humanity
about AI, like
is
most
downstream.
people do. Like
I was trying to make the
brilliant
point
person
that
in every industry
OpenAI
around the world has concerns
about the,
but yeah, that's a weird
sort of,
thing. I've been
how
I've been
big of a potential for harm it is. Like, I think we would have heard about it in the news, like the sort of how much harm it's done. And maybe, some of it is working in the shadows, but like the few incidents that we've heard about where, the cause of LLMs, large language models, the technology that's powering ChatGPT, has been huge headliners. Like New York Times talked about this kid that was, perhaps goaded by some kind of chat software that helps teenagers to be less lonely into suicide, which is tragic. And obviously, these are the kind of safety and
he's cherry picking an example that's kind of like
we want to worry about. But these are kind of these isolated incidents And we do have open source large language models. Obviously, the thing that everyone talks about is DeepSeek.
Thank God for, let me just
DeepSeek
give you guys a little
China.
humanity
So
real quick.
what is DeepSeek's incentive? Perhaps the incentive is
Let's
to
go over some
destroy
of
the AI industry.
what people are thinking. Because, all right. So far, and this has over 1,000,082 views. Will AI agents replace God, steal your job, and change your future? My comment says, I'm Team Bret. Can I please move on a farm with him and Heather for the second fall of man? Yeah, I would love Heather, Bret, if you're watching this. I think you should just start a compound and I would join it. King Teal, Bussy Dra. I'm sorry, but King and Spicoli are way too horny for this conversation. Their dicks are way too hard. They've been watching that AI porno. And that's the other thing. You think porn addiction's bad now? Just wait until you can just like get so fucking specific, like with just go like, ooh, I have this fantasy about this emaciated like clock designer who only has one leg and an eye that blinks all the time, but she worships my cock and then gets cocked. Like the most specific to you. The most specific to you. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. It is going to play out fucking weird. It is going to play out fucking weird. And a lot of people, like, they just aren't going to be able to tell us we're almost done. Most people. So, but yeah, I'm sure the news will let us know if anything is like, don't worry, New York Times is on it, baby. I think what's scarier than AI is hearing these entrepreneurs talk about opportunity. Greed addiction is real and will be the downfall of society. Someone else said, I feel like I'm listening to the beginning of a sci-fi movie where no one listens to the nerd who warns everybody of what's coming. And the bald buddy in the red is definitely the villain, 100%. Someone else said, I want to see an artist, philosopher, and creative spiritual person join this debate. They remind us of what we truly want after we get the job done fast by AI, to be happy and fulfilled. Humans need to connect, to see beauty, to have wonder, to feel proud, strive for something, make mistakes that lead to better, the flaws that make something real and beautiful. The comments on this were actually really good. I found a lot of them to be pretty on point. Hi. Oh, models on Suicide Watch. Yeah, because just think of every industry. I just think it's changing things in a way that's bigger than the internet itself. Like, I don't know. It's very, very, very concerning. But I don't know. I feel like let's go for a little walk and process because I'm on StreamYard and I can choose to do that. And I've been sitting here for an hour and 23 fucking minutes. Probably going to get copyrighted for watching this little video, get my first episode taken down. But I have the need for speed. And by speed, I mean walking outside quickly. Not amphetamines. Because your bitch is a year sober. Hit 10K subs. She's lucky like a clover. All right. There you go, TK. There's that ass. Okay. There's the ass. Okay. Oh, wait. This is like not the kind of pants I can really shake my ass in. Because it's like, that was just like explicit. Here, if you want, people can call in, but I need to be walking. So, but no, everyone's too horny and weird. That's not the energy I want right now. And I'm not leaving. I'm just taking you guys portable. Thank you so much, Polly. Horny TK wins again. Don't worry, baby boo. I'll still be hitting you up in the middle of the night. Asking you about that sweet daddy girl. Sweet daddy girl. She ain't got a clue. She joined a rock band, but she only plays kazoo. What you gonna do? Let's go outside. It's a beautiful day, and this is all very terrifying. So let's go look in nature. I think nature is the solution to this. What do you guys think? Aren't you married, boy? Oh my, why is everything sex to you guys? You guys should all fucking just go on psych meds that make you not horny. Maybe that's the answer. He's married to this pussy. He bows down to this pussy. Shout out to the flowers from Polly and Cycle Man 90 that are still doing beautifully. And if I can keep this thing alive, that'll make me feel a lot better about upgrading to refilling my aquariums, which are both empty right now and have been empty for a while. You guys are gross. What's wrong with sex? I'm celibate. I'm trying to foster like a beautiful inner light, you know, and follow the most beautiful impulses. And sex is gross and leads to bad outcomes for Ruby. Because I've got a sensitive little heart. And when things go bad, I fall apart. And that's the last time I smoked hard. Was when my heart was smashed to pieces, little shards. All right. Let's take the show on the road, bitch. While I'm still young, skinny, and rich. I just need to go outside. It's a beautiful day. Enough freaking out about fucking AI agents. We can freak out about this some more later. But I just feel like taking us for a nice little walk. It's so beautiful out. Okay, enter studio on my phone. It's in the browser. Yo, StreamYard, can you make a fucking app? Maybe you can get one of these AI agents to make you a fucking app so that it isn't so willy-nilly on my phone, just like in the browser, like anything can fucking go wrong. Oh, this bitch. Yeah, I'm here. Step aside, bitch. Oh. Okay. Out. Stop. Oh, thank you, Polly. Oh, that's why I wasn't hearing this. Jeez Louise. For fuck's sake. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to get my stuff together. I guess I accidentally muted, but I was just kind of like rambling about what I was doing. I just want to go walk around. We just had our energy drink. Oh, let me switch to 5G. Convene with nature. And just walk around a little bit. Stretch my legs, and then I'll take like a little nap before work. All right. Sorry, I couldn't see the comments. It's so hard to see the comments on. It's another cool thing about using StreamYard is it can like go either way. Let me just see the comments. Unmute. Now I see this. Ruby, someone translate. I feel like she's grabbing my head and turning around like a little asshole. Whoa, I didn't see any. Sorry, guys. I'm just seeing all the comments now. Sorry, I was like in deep, like looking for everything I need to leave the house mode, which you guys know is usually a fiasco. But I like, it's a pretty nice day. It actually looks like it might rain at some point, but I've been really enjoying the beautiful weather and just trying to stay positive and do things that are like, you know, somewhat nourishing for my spirit so that I can find the strength in myself to take on each day and just keep on keeping on. Jack says, Ruby, do you care about AI? Because I watched Past You on Double. I watched Past You on double speed and I'm past you now. What? Do you care about AI? Because I watched Past You on double speed and I'm past you now. I don't know if I even really understand. Maybe I'm like weird, reading that weird, but they're talking past what is real so people can find it for themselves. Maybe I need to smoke more weed to understand what you're saying right now. Shoot, I'm so bad at like with technology anyway. It's so hard to like I can't even like flip my camera around. Like, here we go. Dude, it takes like 80 steps to do that. I can't even see anything. All right, this is what I'm asking. Do you want me to tell you what they're talking about? Oh, I mean, I feel like I was able to understand it as much as my interest carries me. I'm not like hyper interested in like the specifics of how like, you know, certain tech things work, but I appreciate the offer. But it was a pretty easy to understand conversation for the most part. And even the parts that were maybe hard to understand, they included little info blurbs, which I found helpful as someone who's like, you know, been vaguely following the AI issue with like a lot of concerns. But I feel like I've just noticed it so much so on my timeline this week, and the way that advertising is just rapidly changing, and the market on YouTube is rapidly changing around content and AI content. You know, it's just very interesting, and I don't know. And I was curious to hear like what chat thought about it. So, do we think I'm like overly worried about it? I know some people think that no matter what, like humans are always going to be smarter than AI. Even though I do think that like literally everyone who studies the topic disagrees with that. But it depends on what you mean by intelligence. But broadly, intelligence just means one's ability to efficiently navigate and create positive results, manipulating their environment. And like operating within the theory of like logic that humans know. But these are, you know, I don't. Yes. Big questions, big topics. Keemstar sure has a lot of love for AI. Freaking Keemstar. I will say, like, it's fun how easy it is to, like, make your own song, your own show. And if I learned anything from Keem, it was just, like, how any fucking idiot can do this shit. And I think I have a better eye for what's interesting and entertaining than he does. But, he's the one who's been a public media figure for many years. I'm just an arrogant, like, victim of Dunning-Kruger syndrome, so. But that works for me. There's some really weird conspiracies about AI that are interesting. Any that come to mind? I mean, for me, the main one is, it's like the original fall of man was involved biting into an apple that contains the knowledge of good and evil. And all these tech bros are just already comparing themselves to God. And I get that. Anyone who creates can have the capacity for like a God complex. Anyone who feels that they turn nothing into something can have a God complex. But these people are on a whole other level, and they're creating their own little self-serving moral frameworks preemptively before the public backlash has even started. I mean, obviously there's backlash, but not. Most people just don't know what the fuck is going on. They're like, yo, I'm tired. I can't keep up with this fucking shit. Woo. Gamer said, oh, yeah, he's using it to see what other Discord servers you're in so he could ban you if you're in someone else that like links his server. Dude, that shit's... Yeah, and then you have people like Keemstar who is going to use any resource he can to keep hoarding resources. That's what this is. It's hoarding behavior. But as a society, for whatever reason, we not only accept the fact that people hoard like disgusting amounts of wealth to one individual, a country's amount of wealth to one individual, 1 million times over. We've already just kind of accepted that. Not only accepted it, but glorified it. That's something, to aspire to. Maybe you too can hoard resources, and it creates like environment of scarcity and competition, distrust. And I feel like the answer for humanity, the answer is love, baby. Whether it's the love of God, your love for your fellow man, but real love, like a real care to see people want to like reach their full potential in life. Because it's a horrible tragedy when that doesn't happen. But I've also been reading a lot of C.S. Lewis. I was reading The Problem of Pain last night at work, and he's a very like clear, accessible, religious writer, It's able to kind of paint things in a way that makes more sense to me as someone who's always just struggled with these concepts. But King says, I was in an alternate reality when I was throwing my head around. It's Ragdoll King. Holy fuck, DK sometime. They're talking past what is real so people can find it for themselves. Do you want to understand? Wait, I'm like way back in the comments. It's a lot about talking past the issues. Like they can start panic. People kill themselves, sometimes for less. When it's the limits of hardware. But like, we already have 3D printing devices and all of the technology we know. It's just going to continue advancing at an exponential rate once the machines are able to effectively teach and advocate for themselves. Is like, I just don't see any, like even the most optimists, like the people like the fucking villain, the like bald guy in the red suit, even the most optimists like acknowledge that there's going to be some like just absolutely insane changes happening to society in a way that everyone's going to feel. Some people, for better, like him, they're going to sit on an even bigger pile of wealth, while the rest of people have to, you know, give up on dreams of ever owning homes or cars or really owning anything. Oh, well, we're in this post-ownership utopia where we don't have to worry about owning because, like, these guys have got it unlocked. They own everything and we just rent and are slaves. Yay. Jack says, life does not seem real when it can hit 70% of the words that you're going to say before you say it. And the rest of the inputs inside your world goes just words. Yeah, it's really, it's all quite unsettling, but I don't know. I think now there's going to be more people seeking out answers in philosophy and religion and spiritual practice, because this is just so, it's just, I don't know, it's very incomprehensible, honestly. You will own nothing and be happy. Yay. It's just funny, yeah, because we've seen what happens when technology increases. The level of output by workers has gone up like 20-fold, but there's been complete wage stagnation. Like, even though there's this huge output, and now there's like the wealth disparity, it's in realms that people would have never have even known to conceive of 100 years ago. We're all like frogs in boiling water, but it's like we've all just been boiled for a while, and we're just kind of like checked out, and now we're going to be like set on fire and burned. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be like an end times person. Rudy, you're missing if you're lacking fentanyl. Lacking fentanyl is the best thing that's ever happened to my life, so. Ruby will rise up to the machines. That's right, baby. Basically, what I'm trying to get to is, I got you. All right? I just reached out to Bret Weinstein and his wife, Heather, about if they could be open to just maybe starting a ranch. They could take me in. I could be like the, you know, resident, like, crazy person who does YouTube. I don't know. Actually, there's not much I could really offer a end of days camp. Maybe some comedic relief because my life is such a shit show. Oh, puppy. You wouldn't care. Samu says, you wouldn't care about scumbags making you things. I mean, a lot of people are surprisingly okay with a lot of things that we thought they'd care more about, like our data being completely harvested and sold against our wills. We're just like, oh, cool, the ad knows me better now. That was convenient. Convenient. Like we're beating ourselves over the fucking souls with convenience. Do I need like another energy drink? Is that really what is going on right now? No. The energy drinks are too crazy. Hey, Shamu says, you're worried about stuff you wouldn't with fentanyl. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, fentanyl really inhibits your ability to meaningfully engage with the world around you. Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, yeah, that's pretty known though, like that fentanyl and like extreme like downers and drugs like that can make it harder for you to connect or care about literally anything, including your own life and whether you die. So it's pretty extreme. And I have noticed this like correlation as I go down on methadone. It's like I can feel my old interests and desires and preferences coming back to me, and
And it's great. It's really exciting, you know. I've like been inspired to be vegan again. You know, I guess that's about it. I don't know, I feel a little brain foggy, and that actually I didn't really get to talk about, but I do think that, as some know, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease like 6 years ago. I was very sick. I couldn't leave bed. I was only able to support myself by doing like OnlyFans and things like that. Sorry, like I just walked by something that they don't know why. Just there's too many distractions right now. But so I struggled with my health because of Lyme disease infection that I had tested positive for, and if you don't treat it, it can have like long-term effects. But there's a similar thing with COVID, the whole long COVID thing. And if you think about it, I mean, it's like most people have gotten that, and I just feel like everyone I know is like pretty chronically ill. Like even like people I know who are used to be more active, they have all these ailments and they're so confused. And it just reminds me so much of my experience when I had the untreated Lyme disease. And I did this experimental 1.5 years of antibiotics because I was so desperate for something to work. And broadly, it did bring my health to a point where I'm able to work an outside job and, you know, do some things to a more normal degree. But I also have been feeling more physical health symptoms lately that are making me just concerned. But I tell myself it's just, you know, psychosomatic, hopefully. And everyone is just dying now. That's just the new normal. So don't let me forget that I have work. I still have like a ton of time though. Hey, what's up, Brandy? Sorry, it's so hard to see some of the comments when I'm like looking at the phone horizontally. I can only see like one little comment at a time. Should I just get another Red Bull, I guess? Whatever. Because like iced coffee, it involves a lot of interaction. I get like weirdly socially anxious. So if I'm like torn between iced coffee and a sugar-free Red Bull, I'll go sugar-free Red Bull because it means less interaction and waiting. And I'm just going for a little walk. I have work like in like a little less than an hour, I think. I can't see the clock right now. The way my phone is with the like tab open for StreamYard. It's just making it hard for me to even focus because it's so chaotic. They need to make like a StreamYard app that you can stream from. They have one that you can view from, and it's like, I don't know. What time is going to work? Oh, actually, I guess I have to leave for work in like half an hour, actually. I just looked at the clock. I have to be there at 4. 44 minutes till 4 p.m. Thank you, guys. Long COVID. Holy shit, my mom's doctor has even talked about it. It's a thing. It's a thing, and I think that, like, a lot of people are impacted, like an insane amount of people. And it's just something I've kind of picked up on just from interactions with my friends and the fact that we all have really been struggling to make plans because we all feel like we're sick and dying all the time. Like, more so than usual, when that's already an issue because we're already crazy. I just haven't, I don't know. Oh, this is I used to be on the committee for this birthday bike thing. But it's incredibly concerning and it's confusing. You know, in my experience of having a lot of like big health issues, there's not much they can do beyond managing symptoms. You know, I did my 1.5 years of antibiotics, and it's like now I'm having these symptoms again. I'm like, oh, is it long COVID? Am I bipolar? Because that can also be a symptom of bipolar depression. Like maybe I'm in a lower thing. But, you know, that doesn't really help my case either. You know, I've been trying to deal with that whole situation in every way humanly possible from every angle, you know, for my whole life now. And we've gotten to this level of functioning, impressive to some, not to many. Oh, yeah, relatable. So static. It's brutal, and I got that was a really hard time for me in life when I was having those health issues and I didn't know what it was or if it was going to end or will I ever be able to do the things I loved. Like, I wasn't able to play music or tour or do any of the things I built my life around enjoying, you know, and everything just slipped away, and I just didn't understand it. And I would go see doctor after doctor after doctor, and they would diagnose me with like bipolar or anxiety or ADHD, and always like a psychological thing, even though I'd come to them with primarily physiological complaints: exhausted, no energy, extreme brain fog, extreme like pain in my joints. And I feel like the fact is people are sickly now, and modern medicine has no idea what to do with them. So plan on just being gaslit and trying to manage your own symptoms, because our medical system is just very disappointing. Unless you're like, oh, you have cancer. We now finally, after years of like gaslighting those people, understand and treat this. Like, and there's been a sizable increase in like vector-borne illnesses and then the long-term symptoms of those. So yeah, we're going to have more convenience than ever, and we're not going to have anything else really going on. But it's confusing. It's very, very confusing. Fed Up Southern says, I went through something like that and they couldn't find anything wrong. I had to remove foods from my diet, find out what was going through the pain. Yes, I had to do the same thing. So that's why I was on a very strict vegan and gluten-free diet for many years. You know, it wasn't until I was totally cracked out that I started eating like some muffins again. But when I first went back to rehab, I was still not eating gluten. Because that was the only thing I like found this very specific diet that could help kind of manage the symptoms so that I could kind of function enough. But the fact is, like, if I'm not doing something that's necessary of me, like work or a social commitment, I'm lying down, resting, probably in pain. And I get scared anytime my life looks too much like that again, because I wonder, is this ever going to change? If it's a psychological thing, I'm trying so hard to find answers on how to deal with that, Oops, why is it sharing my thing? Muffins are delicious. Can't believe you're there. I'm afraid to even try quitting gluten again in case it actually does help, and then cool, now this is a whole other like ridiculous aspect of my diet to maintain, Like, I already feel like an inconvenience to people just by being like vegan, like, I don't know. Can we be a disaster together, please? TK, your dick is horny and it's barking up the wrong tree, my buddy, because your bitch is celibate. I'm only here for God. And yes, that freaky internet shit, but I'm not trying to fuck. I'm not trying to fuck. Ew. Gluten and dairy were big triggers, but I was able to slowly introduce a little at a time again. I still restricted though. Yeah, I just stopped eating cheese. The only animal products I was consuming were egg and cheese at Dunkin' Donuts. That was it, basically. But it's too gross to me, even that now. Just ever since that vegan protest, it really works. But I was already someone who had been vegan most of my life, and that was the only animal product I was really continuing to eat. But so for like ethical and just like health reasons. Also, it's so ironic that like 666 Writer is going around into every single chat room ever saying that I used to do kitten crushing content, saying I used to kill kittens for like when I did like Chatterbait and OnlyFans. No, that conversation came up because I saw on stream that Grace like randomly just like stomped out a cockroach, and I was like pretty viscerally horrified by her just like needlessly stomping out some like creature that was just walking by. But I know I'm weird about stuff like that. Like most people don't think that's, and it's not even like this huge like, you know, I don't think the cockroach's family is gonna like mourn them, you know, as long as it was instant. It's just a general like, oh hey, look at random living thing, I'm gonna destroy you for my own satisfaction. So anyway, and then I mentioned that, oh, that's actually like a fetish too, this like crushing thing, and it used to be really popular in Japan. It was super fucked up. That's it. That's all I said. The era of not enforcing any chat rules is over, okay? Because it's just getting ridiculous. And I'm realizing it's hurting my own streams that I give special treatment to people who just spam shit and say horrible shit about me all day. Why am I giving those people some kind of like special like treatment and letting them take over every single chat with their like totally crazy spam? Like, I need to buck up and just make better choices around boundaries and content, and not letting people like Ryder like take up my chat or like let me give them so many chances when they've expressed that they only have evil intentions online. Like, what am I working with here, you know? And now that they're going around telling everyone that I literally kill kittens, it's fucked up, because it's just entirely not true. And it's from a conversation about how I think it's messed up that Grace stepped on a bug. That's why we were talking about that. And he's sending around screenshots of me saying that, yeah, this is this fucked up thing, as proof that I did it. Me knowing what it is proof. It's like, no, actually the proof is I've been a fucking like animal rights activist since I was like a kid. So I'm aware of different like animal abuses in other countries because that topic comes up. And I was an OnlyFans model and a Chatterbait e-whore. So that's another reason why I would have that intel. Many, like... Kevin says, I think we are oversaturated by 24-hour fitness life coaches. No, I don't want to continue our $1,400 a month 3-week sessions. You better get used to the roaches. They will be the last thing that's left after Armageddon, potentially. Ugh. And it's not that I like, well, actually, when I was a little kid, I did actually really like bugs. And I would get like these like bug, not like aquariums, but like a little thing, you know, that you would like collect bugs in. But as I've gotten older, I'm like totally grossed out by them. But what grosses me out even more is like just how easy it is to accidentally kill them, and their bodies are everywhere. And I really don't like it. The fact that they exist, the fact that like, just the amount of suffering of like from animals like all over the world in general, it's scary. Oh my god, you don't owe them anything, they deserve to be banned. I know, it's just I want. And we've had some success. The people who are like more in the Discord or like keep up with the, you know, community of our little friendship group or whatever online. But you know, there's been some success in like rehabbing trolls and like people ultimately changing for the better, you know, by just being exposed to like a different social environment where like the, you know, that behavior is just like fucking kind of cringe and bizarre, and like fostering more interesting qualities or conversations or means of interacting with people besides being like, look, I'm going to like go up to every random person and then pinch their cheek and call them the N-word, like for reactions. What? Like, yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can hurt people. And it's pretty easy, I guess, like hurt some people online. And unfortunately, that's like a big culture online, is people who build communities around their shared desire of hurting other people for content, for their own amusement. I don't even know what I'm fucking ranting about right now. King is a hapless romantic like us. Some of the DMs are spicy, but you should search him for love with King. No, I love King, and I like his presence in the community. And I don't mind, like, yeah, I'm a sexy little sassy bitch, you know? But not always. Like today, like, bitch, the last thing I'm feeling is like I wanna fuck. I'm feeling freaked out by AI and not in the hot way. I'm feeling tired, overwhelmed, and in a state of like extreme spiritual confusion while reaching for something more meaningful. And I reach out for something more meaningful. TK says, here's my dick. Are we proud of that? But TK is a whole different breed than like people like Spicoli or Ryder, who every chat, it's like they are just spamming. And the whole point of like having less moderation is I don't want a hug box chat. I want people to feel like they can critique me without me like freaking out and banning them, which I had done in the past, like without much care about it. I was just treating it like a mute button. But I'm way more like aware now and more cognizant of the effect that has on people and on chats. You know, I like the spice. So I'm not saying don't leave spice at the door, you know. I don't know, but what time is it? I can't see it on stupid StreamYard. I hate, like, I fucking hate StreamYard. It's so hard to use. I feel like the women in chat know, okay? Like, sometimes your period's like irregular or something, your, like, hormones are crazy. Like, I feel like I've been experiencing that. And not just like my uterus cramping, but my whole body feels like it's cramping. And that's why I just couldn't bring myself to go to the clinic earlier. I just did not, even just to Uber there and back. The fiasco, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But I really, really, really have to tomorrow. Spoon fuck. Spoon fuck, yeah. My rosebud was not talked about, and I never said, here's my dick. 3 p.m. It's 3:30 actually. Yeah, I need to just go home and I guess I can wear this to work, but I need to put on actual shoes because I just found these sandals that my neighbor gave me because my neighbor's just gifted me like a ton of clothes because I'm blessed like that. But they're a little small, so it's a little hurting. So that means I should probably start winding the stream down. Or maybe I'll bring you with me for the whole walk. I'm just so easily distracted, and using StreamYard on my phone is like, it's so fucking hard to see everything. My phone screen is so cracked. I'm like, I just can't wait to get better gear in this bitch. And that's coming very soon. Hang tight, people. That first big YouTube payment is coming. And I'm going to be spending that on shit to just make this, to level up the content for real. And start locking down some dates to either ship out some bitches to New Haven or ship this bitch out to where the other bitches are. Yeah. Even though I'm exhausted and sickly, I want to push myself and do things. And the thing is, I just communicate that to people. And most of the time they're like, you know what, actually me too. So if you want, let's just do things like this and we can take breaks and this and that. And like, you just have to be prepared and realistic. And it's not about being a diva or making excuses. It's about creating the most quality time/content for all parties involved. I just like these women. Most of you dorks show no love, so TK does the concert. And hey, the bitches like you back. And a lot of people don't know that me and Tommy actually do have a lot in common. And I do consider him to be like an online friend, even though there's been lots of highs and lows. I think he's an intriguing character and not a bad guy. Has some issues. Don't we all? Do you have some issues? Don't we all? Looking like a baby, push up doll, put up those titties on your face. God damn it. I don't want to act like this. See, that's the thing too. It doesn't take much for me to act like a little hoe and say the craziest, most out-of-pocket shit. That's my first nature. But I'm trying to tap into a nature, to an energy source that is from a divine light ordained by God to guide us all through his Holy Spirit inside each and every one of us, fostered through prayer and high moral behavior. By that, I mean smoking weed and calling out others' bad moral behavior. I didn't get an energy drink. I guess I could just go to work straight, like, here. Do I need anything at the house? Like, I don't want to go upstairs, but do I really want to go to work in these fucking sandals that don't fit? Yeah, maybe I do. I don't know what to do. Torn. I just don't really need anything at my house. I have my keys. Oh, did I take my medicine? I don't fucking know. I do not even know. I can't even keep this ship afloat on a chemical level. I love my little team of bitches that we're building up. We gotta take over. We're taking over. Oh, also, everyone, tune in. Ava is going to be doing a live stream that I'm mega bummed that I'm going to be missing because I'll be at work. But if it's so, I'll be tuning in from the bookstore. But it's covering someone who is like a TLC housewife who's kind of turned into this like histrionic personality disordered like YouTube person who's been making some waves and sucks. I'm curious about them, and Ava does a really good job like researching stuff like that and doing like putting a docket together, so I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Hopefully I can watch from the store. Can't and too many cookie jars. Yeah, I guess we'll just go straight to work from here, but I'm stupid. It's just get Red Bull with sugar. They don't even have that. Here's the other thing. I forget if I already brought this up, but I feel the need to say it again. There's an epidemic of people addicted to sugar-free Red Bull. Can we get some sugar-free Red Bulls in chat to acknowledge? Because every fucking bodega I go to, every Walgreens, every single thing, they got all the sugar Red Bulls. They ain't got any sugar-free Red Bull. Like the day after they stock up, boom, it's gone. Like, I think that the bitches are sick and tired, and you're seeing that in our purchases. Hey, how's it going? I just cover up my sexy body a little because I'm getting harassed. It's hard being so sexy. Red Bull's in the chat. Yes. I thought Ruby said the N-word 3 times. Wait, when? That, fortunately, that's never really been in my lingo. Fun fact that I noticed from a Thorpe stream is that, you know, they say the N-word all the time. They're like, you go fuck, like, we'll see it. But then when they're around, like, other people, especially other black people, in, like, an urban area, they're like, all of a sudden, like, dude, Lalo, try not to say that so loud. Like, so it's like, okay. Okay. But they can have superficial, temporary social awareness. And that runs out. Dude, StreamYard's so annoying too on my phone because it's like half the fucking screen is taken up by this, like, share your referral link. No, I want to be able to see the comments underneath that stupid fucking link. Nobody's looking at me like, wow, she's really selling StreamYard. Like, nobody wants my fucking StreamYard link. Why is that the biggest feature on the fucking webpage right now? Boogie said that word on Alcohol live stream and ended up on Drama Alert. Dude, I can't think of any, like, these people are so just beyond. I don't even really, I don't think they care. I don't think their audience cares. I don't know that I care. And it's like, I just don't understand their commitment towards making really low quality content with so many resources at their disposal and this being all of their full-time job. Like, that's what they came up with, you know? Ruby, get a big box of sugar-free Red Bull, stock up. You'll always have them. Buy bulk. There was a reason why I wasn't doing that. And that's because I have such low level of self-discipline. Each day I'll just start drinking more and more sugar-free Red Bull, and it's already at an insane amount. So I'll just up my addiction to it even more. And I don't know. The system, it's dumb. I need to figure out a better system, but I can't, like, self-regulate to have them, like, buy in, like, bulk. And Lil Grim, I'm sorry if I'm missing any comments. I just saw you set a question mark, but I wish you guys could see what I see because it's like I can only see one comment, like, at a time because it's the whole stupid screen is taken up by this, like, link. They want me to send the streamer link. Like, join my streamer link. Don't. I'll never post that link because it's so fucking annoying. Excellent. That was happening before Thanksgiving. It's a rant at the Golden City. Their ex is helping them out there. Walk is free. Walk is free, and one of the main things that helps me stay in shape, besides cutting out candy and now all animal products being vegan again, those are like my main diet guidelines. As long as I'm within that framework, I can stay in shape without a huge amount of physical exercise. But I really do want to be doing more, like, floor exercises and getting, like, just back into, like, fitness again. You know, 2 more squats. You have to put more effort in to maintain, like, your appearance as you get older. Or you can choose not to. I choose to, especially since I've been focusing on more like creating content, which is very visual. This was actually pretty healthy. Yeah, just this.
Nothing. As in nothing. The place has been cleared out. It's incredibly. No, there's plenty of prints. Who else?
Thank you. Thank you. I should have gone home to change my shoes. I'm wearing these sandals that are way too small. I'm just banking on it not being busy at the bookstore, but oh wait, it's the Yale commencement week, so everything's fucking busy right now. Well, I have my elliptical machine too, which I wasn't using because just that area of my room was so messy. It's really good the last time I got these, so I'll do that dinner. But this is DMs with who? The DMs are so sad. Hell yeah. Me and Fed Up have come a long way.
This is smoke shop stuff.
Oh, great. Well, I mean, I would have guessed she does tend to leak all the DMs she gets. Anything inspire it? Oh, 12 minutes. I'm just not going to go home. We're out. My feet are fucked. Hopefully it'll be somewhat slow at the bookstore so I don't have to be on my feet too much. But I'm just, I'm 5 minutes away from the bookstore right now where I am. So we are slowly making our way. I have my new little portable diary for important notes and things I have to remember. Ain't need no AI agent. But thank you for reminding me, Static, because I need to be reminded. I'm just not going to go home. I don't have time to go change my shoes, and I don't want to go walk up the stairs. It's painful. It hurts. I feel like I'm always just trying to shift off as many tasks into the future as possible, but hey, what's up, Ghost? Thank you. I'm gonna have to think of some kind of 10K celebration, or I mean, I've been wanting to do a chat appreciation ceremony with a new chat tree and do something special for the members. It just sucks that I got so much busier, but I feel like I'm still making time for it. I skipped the clinic today and streamed before work or whatever. Up says, I couldn't handle stairs every day. Plus, your stairwell seems so steep. It is. And I think that, it's a good workout, but I just never know if I'm pushing myself too hard because I have the joint pain thing. And it's just so hard to know when I should push myself or when I need to actually rest. Or there's going to be some kind of catastrophic fallout somewhere else. I've just learned how to run this wonky ass ship over the years. And Randy Cobra Commander voice is awesome. I don't know what that is. Alright, I'm going to work. Looks like it's gonna rain. I probably should have stopped home, but whatever. Thank fucking God. Oh wait. I was gonna say thank fucking God I'm off work tomorrow, but I forgot that on top of someone leaving at my job, the other bitches are like, I have some things, so you guys know I'm gonna need this whole week off too. Love you, bitch. I'm just fucking exhausted. And I want to spend time on my YouTube channel, but that doesn't really sound like it matters when you make a request about, hi, can I have more time on my YouTube channel? I don't fucking know. But it's what are these bitches doing? I don't fucking know. I don't want to cancel the interview tomorrow. I don't fucking know. Holy shit. Being a person is whack. Yeah, just try to keep your back as straight as possible. Hips, knees aligned when we get up the stairs. I want to go back to bed now, and I'm not even at work yet. But that's okay. It's a quick little shift. It's embarrassing. My life is so easy and charmed, and it was so easy and charmed, and I was still struggling. And then you add the 20 hours of getting to the clinic and dealing with that bullshit, and then add another 20 hours of someone leaving at my job. It's where am I taking this extra energy from when I was already not able to do it all? But if we find a way, I'm doing my best. The bookstore has been a great opportunity for me. And even though it's more lucrative to spend that time on YouTube and more enjoyable, at the moment, I liked the balance that I had. And now it's I don't know. It's just are they gonna I don't know, hire someone? I was happy with the amount that I was working. So I don't know. It's fucking, I don't know. But because you know what I mean? It's okay, I made these priorities of YouTube things that I have to do this weekend. That just doesn't, it's I don't know, it just doesn't sound like a good reason. But why, why do I think my reason is less good than someone else's reason for taking the whole week off when I'm just maybe not wanting to just keep covering all these bitches? I don't fucking know. But I also don't want the bookstore to be fucked. Anyway, I don't know, this is a private conversation from my head that I should be having. Hope everyone has a great night. And tune into Ava's stream. She'll be going live, I think around in a couple hours. So, alright, anyway, enjoy that. I'm just going to keep on trucking, making the best of it, trying to stay positive. The mood's a little all over the place. I think I'm just peak PMS right now. So, I don't know. Peak PMS and just had all of my life tasks tripled out of nowhere. Whatever. That's cool.